Welcome to Hope Channel International. In this video, Bible experts talk about what the black horse represents and the problems that arose when Christianity became an accepted religion.
Well, Sean, we talked about the first two seals, the first two horsemen of the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
The fastest study in history on the first two seals. Yeah, and again, people are going to be frustrated. We're going to cover way too much, but in coming episodes, the details will fill in.
We're just getting the big picture tonight.
You got it, big picture.
So let's get back in and look at the third seal, the third horseman. Let's look at that in Revelation chapter 6, verses 5 and 6.
Okay.
When he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come and see." So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand.
Okay.
All right, so our third horse is black.
Go on and read the next verse too,
Okay.
if you don't mind. Read verse 6 for me, so that we can cover it all.
Sure. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." Interesting.
Yeah. We're moving to the next period of history. We have the Roman Empire cracking down on Christianity, and now we have a rider come on a black horse. He's got a pair of scales in his hands, or balances in his hands, depending on your Bible version, and he's got some food. He's got wheat, and he doesn't have very much. He's got about what a slave would get for a day.
Okay.
It's not a lot. It's a penny was roughly, or a denarius was roughly what a soldier got paid for a day's labor, and this is barely a day's food. So it's the idea that there's not much, and it's for sale.
Right.
So historically, what happens? Christianity is in danger of being wiped out, but Tertullian, the church father, makes this observation. He says, look, the more we get mowed down, the thicker we grow as Christians. Kill one of us, 20 spring up in our place.
That was true, wasn't it?
Absolutely true. So I picture the devil getting frustrated, saying, "Aha!
My plan isn't working."
Yeah, I'm trying to wipe them out, and they're just getting stronger." And he looks at the situation, and he thinks a thought that many people think. Machiavelli thought it. Other thinkers have thought this.
Right.
If you can't beat them,
join them. Right.
Something interesting happens in the year 312.
Okay. What happens?
Well, there's
then?
a struggle for supremacy in the Roman Empire. There are 4 people competing to rule the Roman Empire at this point. And one of them is a guy by the name of Constantine. And he's on his way to the Battle of Milvian Bridge, which is a decisive battle to decide who's going to rule over the Roman Empire.
Okay.
Milvian Bridge is a place I've been, actually. Today, lovers, boyfriends, girlfriends, fiancés, husbands, wives, lock a lock on the bridge. It's still standing these 2,000 years later almost. Yeah, I've put a lock there and I wrote your name on it.
Did you?
Yeah, I just wanted you to know that.
You need to take me there and show me one day.
Yeah, well, no, that's not going to happen. That's too far away. But there is a lock with your name on it. All right, he goes to the Battle of Milvian Bridge. He's not putting a lock on it. He claims he has a vision there and that he sees the cross superimposed on the sun. Now, he's a sun worshiper, so this really gets his attention. And he hears a voice saying, "In hoc," and all the Latin teachers out there, you're gonna hate the way I pronounce Latin, but "in hoc signis vinces."
Okay.
By this sign conquer.
So by this sign of the cross that he's seen over the sun. Okay.
Right. So he wins the war. He becomes the supreme ruler of the Roman Empire, and he takes that as a sign that the Christian God gave him his victory, and he adopts the Christian God essentially as his own God of war.
Interesting. Quite a change from the time of the persecuted, when the Christians are persecuted.
Right. So Christianity becomes the state religion all of a sudden. The persecution stops. But that creates a real problem. And here's the problem. You think, oh, great news. Well, sometimes a lack of persecution is not that good for Christians. Because the emperor is now a professed Christian, even though he wasn't baptized till just before he died. He's hedging his bets. He's a Christian, and everybody realizes, boy, if we want to get ahead in society, we need to join the Christian church. So people are doing it for political advantage, for financial advantage, joining the church, and we got this huge influx of people who really don't believe in Christianity, and yet they're joining the church.
But they're joining, because it's the thing to do. It's politically correct at that stage.
But they don't have it in their heart. As a matter of fact, there's one old story that says that at one point, Constantine marched some of his army through the Tiber River there in Rome.
I remember that.
He says, now you're all baptized. The problem with that is, what do you get if you march 1,000 pagans through a river? What comes out the other side?
Well, you just get wet pagans.
You get wet pagans, that's right. You don't get any Christians if you march an army through you get wet pagans. And so they're pouring into the church, and that starts to compromise the beliefs of the church because there's a lot of very insincere people that are there for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
And so now the church stops changing the world, and the world starts to change the church. And here's where God starts telling the truth about his own people. It's one of the things I love about the Bible. It's not propaganda. It tells the truth about us.
Well, it tells the truth whether it's pretty or whether it's ugly and nasty.
That's right.
It's all out there.
And it shows us that there's going to be some stuff going on. We did start doing some pretty horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Rome stops persecuting Christians, but as differences of opinion arise in the church, and some are sincere and some are not, we actually start persecuting each other. Now, that's something we all know is true. We don't like to admit it, but as we go back over our Christian history, and as the church moves into the Dark Ages, we actually, as Christians, started doing some pretty horrible stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We did.
it's time for us to just own up to it and apologize. Jesus didn't tell us to do it, and God said we were going to, he tried to warn us prophetically, right? We never found Jesus running torture chambers, and yet his church did that in the Dark
certainly
Ages
not.
if somebody didn't quite agree.
Right.
We go into the Dark Ages, it's actually kind of a bad time. This writer has a balance, and he's selling a scarcity of food. Now, biblically, food is symbolic of something, right? Jesus said, I am the bread of life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am the water of life. I have food to eat of which you know nothing of, Jesus says in John chapter 6. Religion is for sale. Religion is a means of doing business. Religion is a means of doing politics. So the gospel's being sold, religion is being bartered, and it's a time of spiritual scarcity. This is the Dark Ages.
And that's a devastatingly long period of history, isn't it?
As a matter of
Dark
fact,
Ages.
as we move into the next seals, it covers more and more details.
More of the Dark Ages.
Yeah.